What's up? What's
Hey, y'all.
up? How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome. Talking with the Bostons. I'm Keedren.
And I'm Katura, and we are the Bostons. We're glad to have this conversation with you tonight. Listen, we were so hyped. I was in here rapping like old school.
Oh my goodness, she was real good.
Hip hop. I think it's the hoodies. Y'all check these out. Make Room for More campaign with our church, the Potter's House North. So these are some shirts that we're using just to kind of keep the morale up as we're going through renovations and things like that. And so it's also very prophetic. We are making room for more in every sense of the word. So I think it was the hoodie. I haven't really worn a lot of hoodies because I've been trying to dress nice, dress fancy.
You dressing real nice.
Well, thank you. So have you.
You're beautiful.
Oh my, not beautiful.
Real beautiful.
Don't do that. And so we've been dressing up because it's the holidays. And then I put the hoodie on.
Yeah.
And I was chill all day until Elder Moody.
Shout out to Elder Moody.
we gotta tag him.
Yeah.
Daniel Moody Sr. ran up on me, and I thought he was just coming to speak. He was like, "Hey, I was like, how you doing? It's good to see you. Happy New Year." He was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that you being dressed like that just remind me of the thug you are." And I'm like, "Well, get on out of here." He walked clean off. I didn't have a comeback. I wasn't ready. But then something turned on like 10 minutes ago, and I started rapping to all these old school rap songs. I was giving it to
going hard. Yeah. OG.
He was like, "Are you having fun?" And obviously I was. So that is us. This is us. So if you are tuned in, if you're watching from inside because you went ahead and jumped in and said, "I'm going to be an active listener and participant," we appreciate you. If you're watching from the outside and you don't want us to know you are actually viewing yet, or you're not sure if you're going to stay, we're glad you're watching too. Chances are, if we're on your timeline, you know us and we know you. And so we're grateful for you.
Yeah.
And hope that you're having an amazing new year. We said in our chat comments from our Facebook group, Talking with the Bostons, that we weren't having the average run of the mill conversation like the whole New Year, New Me. But we want to talk about just some real stuff, just checking in on your 24 and some real expectations. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
What you think about that?
No, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that a lot. This year, just the crossover has been it's been good because I feel like we really got some rest during
I feel like
our holiday break.
Yeah, that's fair.
Definitely it was a blessing. Y'all put in the chat like how y'all feeling, how have y'all been over these last few weeks. So whenever you're viewing this and however you're seeing this, and then for you all that are live right now, we want to know how have y'all been over these last few weeks. I know that I was talking to a brother of mine today and about just how, and then we've talked about this too. The past year just being very reflective of our 2023, but throughout the year, there was times that we kind of paused and took moments to recalibrate.
Fair.
We even had we even talked about it even on the show.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
We actually have an episode on that.
And so just being mindful to not just wait for the future to think about what's happening presently. And I think toward the end of the year, it's easy to do that, to just say, you know what, this year is done for, this the last month, and that's a whole 30 days.
Man, because people was tapping out around November, weren't they?
It happens. It happens.
It does.
And it's a whole 31 days left in December, but it's almost like sometimes in November, December, we can get to a place where, because, so much is happening throughout the year. A lot happens in 365 days.
Yes. And some good, some bad, some uncomfortable, and some. So it's not an odd thing to be anticipating what's next. We're alive, so it's like anything. Every plant needs a bigger pot as it grows, and so sometimes our years are like that. It's I'm ready to go to the next level, but sometimes just having the perspective that I'm just ready to be done can kind of leave you. It can make you hopeful for the new year, but it doesn't really set you up for success in your next year, because really those emotions of apathy, anxiety, and all that stuff can really go over into that next year with you without you even knowing it.
That's true.
And sometimes we say things and we move mentally in that way, even though we're saying, 2024, I'm going to do this, or it's almost to say it owes us something, and this is just my opinion. But I made this declaration to myself this year because I have done that too. Like, I'm looking forward to 2023. I was looking forward to 2024. I'm still looking forward to the rest, of 2024. But I've also made this declaration to myself that 2024 does not belong to me. I belong to God. And so my future in 2024 belongs to God, just like 2023 and 2022 and 2021 and 2020 did. If you go back long enough, there's a common theme. There's a common denominator in that statement, in that thought process. And it's the fact that we're still here today to talk about it. Yeah. And so with that being said, it just took me back to gratitude. There's nothing wrong with looking forward to the future. But also having the right perspective. And as a believer, I said, you know, what I can do different is shift my perspective. And not try to think that I can manipulate my reality, because Jesus is my reality. Yeah.
That's real. I feel
like, I still got a little gangster rap on me. When you feel me? No, so Jesus is my reality. And so it still feels like that is what I owe him, to submit and commit.
That's good.
2024 to him.
So you said this year that's good. You said this year don't belong to you.
No, it really don't belong to me. You know, I may have tomorrow. I may not. I may see April. I may not. I may see another December 31st. I may not. So I just feel like I want to do things one moment at a time. That's something that I did. I know that I didn't do in 2023, because when I reflected on 2023, I said, man, this year went by so fast. And we say that every year, single year. But when you're in that year, you know, there are moments where we might say, man, this year's going by. Yeah. But I don't just want, you know, another year to happen to me. You know, I want my experience. I want to experience my experience as they are happening. I want to be in the moments while they're occurring. There are some things that I'm not taking pictures of and I'm not going to record. I just want to be in them. In the moment. Yeah. And really seek God for what he has. I want to ask God what his plan is versus telling him mine. You know, that's why I don't tend to make lists and things of what I want God to do. I'm like, really, if anything, God, can you help me serve you better so that I can walk more clearly and more uprightly into what is already, you know, ordained for me, what you have for me, and that I don't miss moments, because I could have missed moments last year. That you know, I'm kinder, more loving, you know, all of the character of God, that I show forth more fruit in a way that I didn't last year, and help me to see things that I missed, because I could have thought I was dope. I didn't.
No, but you
know what I mean, though? Like, just being real. Like, what did I miss last year that grace is going to allow me to walk into, if I'll just submit like this season to him and not try to grab 50 different prophetic words, you know, and rhyme and all that stuff. Like, I mean, if it helps you remember and it inspires you, I think that's fine. You know, it's no shot against that. But like I said, this conversation is for grown folks. At the end of the day, what I really want is to know God better and to walk into what he has for me. I don't want to miss anything. Even while it's going fast. I don't want it to go faster than me. I want to move at the speed of my destiny.
Okay. That's real.
Yeah, you like that one?
No, I love that. Yeah. So beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Think about
y'all. He flirting with me. He flirting with
life,
me,
girl. No, but
think about my life.
Last year, no, for sure. Like last year, you had a dope year though. Like you did a lot of great things in 2023. You know what I mean?
You were with me for a lot.
I mean, listen, but just seeing the great things you were doing, as far as, you know, what you were doing with Orange and the conference, and personally, you know, with your consulting and traveling and just building with ministries, and just watching you connect with leaders and pour into them and be intentional.
You blush.
No, because I really feel like this past year you really have done that. Like what you're saying now, like as far as like moving at the speed of your destiny, but also locking in, like, you know what I'm saying, getting into it, like saying God into placement, you know what I'm saying, so that way you can move at that speed. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
I don't feel like you were chasing it. you know what I mean? I feel like you were in it, you know what I mean? Because you stepped in a place of obedience and courage, being courageous and stepping into certain places where you were just like, and when I say places, I mean like, you know, thought processes, like I always want to say processes. Thought processes that
so smart.
That, you know, because sometimes, you know, we can overthink things, especially, you know, when I think about 2022 and how you were building and saying, you know what, this next year I'm going to, this is what I'm doing. It was like, it was like even in 2022, like the winter season before crossing over to 23, you know, and I think we do these last couple of years, we've done a decent job of that, like not waiting to the new year to start what we are looking to do, right? So, but I watched you firsthand 2022 gear up for 2023 and then implement it, walk in it, even if there were some areas that were gray that you didn't feel like you understood all the way, but still leaning into the tension, still being bold and courageous enough to go for it, you know what I mean? And then watching you win doing that, you know what I'm saying? Because you have always been equipped, and then there has been more equipment that has been, you know, grace to you over the years that I think you realized, oh snap, that's in the bag, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, you know what I mean? And so I said all that to say, for what you were able to do in 2023 and the talk, how you're talking now for 2024, you know, saying it doesn't belong to me. I'm going to glorify God in this. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do with this year. God, what do you want me to do with this year? Right.
And you know, I mean,
you know, and so I think that that's super dope. And we talked a little bit about this the other day too. I was thinking there are some things that we need to continue. There's some things that if you're watching this, you started in 2023, great job. Clap it up. You know what I'm saying? Pat yourself on the back. Continue, right? There's some things that we have started that need to be continued this year. It's not like I'm starting over, starting fresh, I'm quitting this and starting that. There are some things in our lives that need to be continued.
I'm glad you said that.
You know, so don't let the newness of a month or a day over, you know, the clock, I mean, the calendar shift cause you to shift out of place and out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? When you know that you started something and don't get caught up in the hoopla and the wave of people doing new things in January, that it washes away your mission in your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a good thing for us to remember. There are some things that we just need to continue.
Absolutely.
No, some of us don't need to start nothing new. Just continue what you were doing.
Some people don't need a new prophetic word.
Right.
You need to do the last thing.
The last thing God told you to do. Right.
The last thing God told you to do.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
And keep that going.
Yeah.
That's,
you know.
I really like that, because a part of obedience is not just starting or beginning the thing that God told you to do, but it's seeing it through.
Yeah.
And sometimes we put a time limit on things that our limitless God has not. He even said for himself that he will continue the work that he began.
Yeah.
Until the day that he returns.
He's gonna finish.
So if you think about it, like trees have not stopped growing.
Right.
Bugs have not stopped evolving. Fish have not. We've not really run out of anything. Because God is a replenish us. The sun. I almost thought a number one stunner. Well, see, I'm telling you, hip hop on the brain. There are things that God has continued to replenish and keep going, because we do move in cycles. His harvest, the principles of sowing and reaping, you know, teach us a lot about cycles. And so there are good cycles too.
Yeah.
There are bad cycles to break. Definitely break those things. But there are some things that God has started that he just wants us to continue to cultivate, because not everything takes a year.
That's true.
Some things literally take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And I heard someone give this example. It was a podcast I was listening to, but I was watching the video version of it. But it was another husband and wife couple, and the wife, I think her name is Donnie, but she was saying she gave this as an example. She said, sometimes we give up on something too soon. Just because we think we've been doing it a long time, or just because we're growing tired. I'm putting words in her mouth now because, I feel my help. Like we start growing weary, right? And because we feel like we've worked so hard and we've done so much and we've accomplished so much, if we don't see what we thought we were going to see within that time frame, by the time your arms get tired, we're like, well, it should have been done by now. This task should have expired when my strength, expired, instead of tapping into the one who's able to renew our strength to keep going on the journey. And so the example she gave was like, you could be digging and shoveling for treasure like they did in the old movies. And then, one of the people digging will say, I'm going to keep going. And one will say, well, I'm done. You can keep digging all you want to. It's not smart, but I'm out of here. I'm sick of this. And the one that does 2 or 3 more scoops, just enough more scoops of digging for the one who walked away to completely vanish, and that one find out that they've just hit the treasure box.
Right. Yeah.
And so sometimes we're right on the edge of our breakthrough. We're right on the edge of seeing the thing that God showed us, the vision. I'm not even saying the thing that he promised us, just the thing that he showed us, because vision and promises are different. Visions can be interpreted, but promise is based on God's word, right? And so sometimes we're so close, we're right on the edge of that thing. But when we get tired, if our first thought process isn't, Lord, give me strength to do what you call me to do, a lot of times we stop right before we get to the thing that God went out through all the trouble. I mean, moved space and time and circumstances to put us in that position. And to hold back the rain while we dug, like we forgot that he held back the rain. Right. Like we forgot that we didn't have a shovel, and he provided the shovel to keep digging. But as soon as our little shoulder get tired, we're like, nah, I'm done. If this was for me, I wouldn't have shoulder pain. And it's like, no, that's actually an indicator that it is for you. You remember that song, No Pain, No Gain?
No pain. No pain.
It's
no
like
pain.
That sometimes. You don't appreciate it when it's just free. Sometimes it's a little bit of work, and you appreciate that it wasn't just you and your strength. It was God who helped you, and so that he can be glorified through, the outcome of whatever that is.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, Tag, you're in.
No, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. Just continue. Stay steadfast.
Yeah.
Take things one day at a time.
Literally.
Right.
Not cliche. Literally.
Yeah.
Just one day. Ask God every single day. What's today? Not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, God, what's today?
Yeah.
What are we doing together today?
No, and I prayed that prayer, and every time I think about it, that portion of the Lord's Prayer, that says, give us this day our daily bread.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Thinking about how Jesus, instructed us to pray in that moment, in those moments, when he shared that.
And it was just for the day.
Thinking about that, like that's something that's important for us to focus on.
Yeah.
Even if you break down that scripture, point by point, piece by piece, and really just chew that, thinking about that, like, give us this day our daily bread. Like, Lord, what is that mission? Like, I find myself, like, especially when, I've been on tour, going away, going overseas, and going into the communities, or even doing outreach and stuff in the States. Locally,
we've done a lot of that.
Praying, for sure. Praying and asking God for these divine appointments, waking up and saying, God, like, what is it that you need me to do today? Who is it that you need me to speak to today? Praying for divine appointments. And I think, we need to do that more. You know what I mean? Like, be intentional in that way. Like, I know we have our personal, because we have our personal goals, and we have all of these things that, are important to us. And it matters to the Lord as well, too, because we give God glory through the things that we, accomplish in life and things like that.
That he helps us plan and execute.
But there's also, first and foremost, when you think about it, the Great Commission, if I know that's something that is not necessarily, I don't want to say, we can use way more of that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree. Some of us are still not speaking to strangers.
Yeah, like
2020 and COVID and all that. Some of us still won't speak to a cashier.
Sharing our faith, and it's not something that, I mean, you don't have to be on no Billy Graham type stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel
there's only one hymn, but we won't even give what we have.
Right. And that's the thing, like, and not to be, you know, critical in that way, but just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like being, you know, what is it? Like how are we thinking in that way? If we're believers and we have people in our world that we come across every day, think about those moments. Has God spoken to you, or your spirit been stirred up when you have a moment in the grocery store or at the corner store or just a neighbor? And I believe that that has been the case for, you know, for many of us. I know for us as well, you know, but
it's kind of easier than I thought, because I'm not the talk to a stranger kind of. I never really have been. I think that's cultural too and regional, just the way I was raised and brought up. But I think a part of that, you being from the South and the way your mom is, she has always like spoken to people and just been polite. And I've learned that from Keedren over the years. And sharing your, like, when I say sharing your faith, it's amazing how many times Keedren has had basic general conversations with people, and they will allude to the fact that he's a believer and living out the scripture. Like, people will know that you serve me by the love that you show to others. They will know that you are mine. And I have watched that happen, and I've watched it as I've gotten more comfortable, you know, publicly speaking, but also just in general out in the world, not being so timid or anxious and just letting God lead. Like, if I'm supposed to speak to somebody, like, there's people I'm going to walk past the aisle, we're not going to have no conversation. But there are moments where me and a lady, we both looking at cereal, and she's shaking her head and I'm shaking mine, wondering why it's $8 and it's not even the family size. That's a moment that we might exchange and be like, are they crazy? I was thinking the same thing. I think they had a coupon. You know, it's little stuff like that. Like, all right, well, God bless you. Take care. You know, and it's like, I knew it was something, you know, and sometimes I'm thinking the same thing about them. That is an exchange of faith.
And
on the basic level.
And that's real. And that's even just recognition, because I know we've had moments like that where we talk to someone and, you know, it gets to that point, whether it's a waiter or waitress or, you know, someone in the grocery store. But I just want to encourage y'all this year, like, you know, even for us, like, even more, like, when you feel that urge to, like, and like that tingle, or you're not even a tingle, but like it's almost like an anxiety, low key, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know,
an unction, like,
you
feel like you want to do this,
because it feels like, it's a low key struggle, kind of like, I don't know, this is awkward. You know, whenever you're feeling that, like, trust God, like, and I felt that so.
Do y'all ever feel like that? Like, you know, you get it, like, you feel, I should speak, I should say hello to this person. Hello, someone just popped up and said hello. I can't see your name.
Is that Nate? Yeah, that's Nate. What's up, Nate, man? Good to see you, man. Love you, brother. Love you.
We've had that, like, just you feel that moment, and you know, and it's not this. Look, we have all missed it before, but I'm just asking that question. Like, have y'all ever experienced that where you know you needed to? Maybe you actually did, but you know that feeling that we're describing. Like, there's probably a word somebody more clever than us has exactly the correct word or definition to explain that physiological sensation that actually happens in your body and your brain when you have that kind of, you know, tension. And the better we get at leaning into
that's what it is. It's tension. That's what it is. It's tension.
It's a tension.
That's what it is.
But the more we lean into it, I think we acquire more grace from God over time.
And it's really in love. It's really,
that's all it is.
It's really love. And so I just want to, and I'm speaking to myself as well personally, because it's really important. But just thinking about this year, thinking about all the kind of drama, all the things that people can focus on and think about. I just feel like, social media, but in real life as well, like stuff that, you know, conversations we might not ever hear online, you know, and things that we as humans get caught up in, trivial pursuits and trivial matters and conversations and things. And so it's one of those things where I really feel like this in this moment, and we can move on with, but I really want to put this out there. It's important this year when you have those moments, and it don't matter if it's 1 or if it's 100. Okay, because Jesus, he left the 99, right? Lord left the 99 to go get the 1. And so it's not about numbers. I just feel in my spirit to just say, when you feel that unction to share the gospel and tell your testimony, tell people about who Jesus is, what he's been in you, how he's changed your life, how he saved your soul, whatever that looks like. I just want to encourage you to lean into that tension and allow God to use you.
Yes. That's good.
Allow God to use you to expand the kingdom, to do what he's called us to do. And this is talking to the believers. Like, it's important for us to do that, because we can spend so much time. It's easier to talk to a stranger about a social media topic
or sport
that's trending, and have a conversation of opinions and how you feel about certain things and go from there. Like, we do those kind of things all the time. Right. That's easy for us to do that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, lean into those moments, especially when you feel like, man, I need to share this. I need to share my testimony. I need to share this with this person. And so if you're hearing this, if you're seeing this, and you come to those moments, I just want to encourage you to be obedient, share your testimony. The Bible says that we have overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. You never know what you have been through, what God has brought you through will help someone else get through. And so I just want to say that.
That was good.
But this year, I'm super excited about it. Because not because it's necessarily a new year, but because I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're still here.
We're still here.
You know how many people, there were a few people before the year ended that passed away that we knew, or it was,
connected to someone that we know and love. The funeral,
even some famous people or people that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's every year, you know what I'm saying? That there are some people that just don't make it to that other side of the year, and so I'm definitely grateful that we're still here, still have our faculties and working and in our right mind.
Yes.
Right mind.
And
I'm ready to continue to keep it going.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, hello. Hi, fans. Who's that?
Hey, Sandra.
Hi,
love
Sandra.
You. We love you too.
We love you too so much. Miss you.
Yes.
Yeah, just the opportunity that it brings to have real conversations with God. Like we said, this was a conversation for grown-ups. This is not like new year, new me. There are parts of us that need to shut off, but that's not just every year.
Yeah.
Right. That's more frequently than that.
Yeah.
I pray that majority of us listening or that will listen are in a place in their maturity, or at least aspiring to be in a place where you're not waiting to the 364th day for a countdown to say, my next year, I'm going to grow up, or I'm going to be different. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. The moment that any idea for changing, for shifting, for evolving pops into your mind, that is the moment that you need to begin that thing. I tell people all the time when it's their birthday, I'm like, Happy New Year. That's actually your new year.
Yeah.
I was telling Keedren, September, when following the Hebrew calendar begins the new year. And so there are just so many moments that we can take to say, I'm not going to wait a whole year to start thinking about what God is calling me to, what he wants me to do. I can evolve and I can grow over time throughout this year and be able to find myself some markers, because we have a quarter. You can just look ahead to a quarter and see, like, what do I want to, who do I want to be in Christ that I can look back on in March?
Yeah.
Right. Because for me, another 11 and a half months, it's just too long.
Yeah.
It's just too far. And I need there to be more milestone markers in between that help me check myself and make sure I'm still on track, and not with my goals. Because again, if you just joined, the way we jumped off the conversation was me sharing that I don't have a list of things that I want God to do. I'm asking God for his list of things that he would like me to do. How can I grow in him so that I am moving at the speed of my destiny. And so a conversation that Keedren had with me was one, it was just this week. He was saying there are also things that we started in 2023 that are not done. And it doesn't mean that they're dead because they're undone. It means to be continued. Right. There are seasons and there are cycles, and some cycles are positive. Not all cycles need to be broken. Sometimes we can cut a thing off and kill a thing off in the middle of its growth stage because we don't understand the part of the cycle that we're in. And so we just give it up before we actually get to see the fruit. So, you know, we are going to be talking and having even more conversation because he put me on some things. He's like, this is something we need to continue. This is something we could do better at. This is something we already started. It's not about a new list. Do the last thing that God said. You don't need a new prophetic word. Do the last thing God told you. I'm not even saying the word that he gave through man. I'm saying there's probably a word that he gave you because God speaks to us about us first. He may use man as a gift to us and a sign to confirm something for us, but he can speak to us directly. So what's the last thing that God told you to do? And when do you and how often do you revisit? Like, God, am I on track for what you want me to be so that I can be aligned with your plan for my life versus me spending 2 hours working out a plan or a vision for what I think I want, knowing that you created me and your ways are not my ways. Your thoughts are not my thoughts, but the thoughts that you have toward me are good, meaning they're perfect and complete, and mine have holes. So you know what kind of list I make? Grocery list. And I still deviate from that. How can I list my life for 365 and a half days because it's a leap year?
Right. And this year we get an extra because this year is a leap year. Actually, so you know there's going to be 366 days this year.
Let me tell you something.
Those of us who have said, man, if I just had
more time in
the day,
how about a whole extra day?
Right.
And if your mindset is not changed, you wouldn't do anything with the more time in the day that you have if you're not stewarding that time well. Right. So another day might not even help some of us if we are not changing our mental mind, our mental mindsets. Well, that might be redundant. Our mindsets or mentalities about how we steward our time, because we really need to be stewarding our time like we need to be stewarding our money.
Sure.
Because your time is your life. You can make more money, but you can't make more time, and your time is legitimately your life. And it's the life that God gave you. It's your gift. So how are you stewarding that? Anyway, I'm talking to myself. This is not a preach word for y'all. Okay. We have been having this conversation. When you're listening and watching, talking with the Bostons, you are literally sitting in our office with us, recapping conversations that he and I have had together where we're checking ourselves. We're not coming to you like we know or have all this figured out. We still have the same, we hope, possible number of days left in the year as you. Right. Nothing's promised, but we have the same potential and possibility of days as you do. And we're trying to figure it out too. But we are not trying to come in here with this new year, new me. Maybe not, right? For some of us, but those of us who have done that enough, we got to reflect. We got to be reflective and
and not really just try to
be trendy.
Because I mean, it's so easy. It's just something about it when that clock strikes 12 and that new year hit. It is something refreshing about it. You know what I mean? Like, and when I think about even just through the years, and I can remember thinking about things that I said I was going to do. Hey, Dickie, thinking about things that I said I was going to do, and a few months later, forgetting about what I said I was going to do. You know what I mean? And not everybody's like that. And there's been some times where I said I was going to do something, and I did it, and just for the sake of doing it, just for the sake of me saying I'm going to stick with it, not being intentional about it was something that grieved me because I said I just got to stick with it. And it was not something that I needed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And so being even intentional with those things, it's not just about doing things. Or I stressed myself out. I added something else on my plate when I just needed to continue to do what I was already doing. And I just said, let me just put these new stuff, new. And the old starts to get stale. Neglected. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and the old thing will get stale if you don't use it, if you don't, you know, be a good steward, even with that, you know. So
I like that. That is good. Like, not just accumulating new things. Yeah. Because really it is about quality over quantity. I think we can use those comparative words and apply them to what you just said. We think that quantity means that we are more ambitious. Like, the longer the list, the more successful the plan is, and the more successful the execution will be. When I think by now, I think we're growing on here, right? Most of us are growing on here. We know that that is not always necessarily the case. Yeah. I was listening to a leader. His name is John Acuff. He's on Instagram. He's cool. He's awesome. He's written some books. But just knowing him and talking to him, he's a very practical person. But he shared something recently, and he was saying that there's nothing wrong with having lists, right? But he said, really, your lists need categories. And he said those categories are going to help you put your actual list of things that you need to do or want to continue working on into better perspective. Like, for example, you don't just need like a laundry list of goals. You need like your financial goals. What is your family and relationship goals? What are your career and business goals? What are you going to do for fun? What are your health goals? Like, breaking up those things into categories to kind of help you put things in perspective. He said on average, the average person, and this is a study that he gathered some data from, so I cannot quote the exact research or where it was found. Okay, so this is definitely second and third. I don't have primary resources for you or sources for you. Yeah. But he said that the average person has about 51 goals that they write for themselves. 51. If you want to feel defeated and like you wasted an entire year or two, give your human self 51 goals that lack a metric.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. He said that, and you do it and you don't even realize it. Like, I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to start eating breakfast. I'm going to start having protein shakes once a day. I'm going to start having vitamins daily. I'm going to start stretching before bed. I'm going to read my Bible when I wake up in the morning. I'm going to start doing devotions. I'm going to have this long of prayer time. I'm going to fast on these days. I'm going to read devotions before I go to bed. I'm going to do this with my kids. We're going to start going to the park 3 times a week. I'm going to start walking during the week. I have a membership, but I'm going to go twice a day. When I go twice a day, one day is going to be cardio and one day is going to be weights. Like,
it's a lot.
Think how quickly that little set of goals.
So many.
And that was just a little bit. We didn't even get into any
other stuff. Like, I'm gonna start telling people how I feel.
Man,
I'm gonna stop letting people run over me. I'm gonna stop being rude. I'm a whatever. They're different.
I'm not the one or they two. You know, right. Like this year, this is what I'm not doing. How about I'm not taking calls? I'm not answering emails. I'm not doing. You know, when you think so, because when I heard him say 51, I sat with that thing. And I didn't hear anything he said for another few moments because I was still like 50 something goals. Like, that was bananas to me. But then when I got off of, his live or his message, that whatever I was listening to, I started to really think about it. And I said, that makes sense. Because I just rattled off, for example's sake.
Oh, yeah. You went
between 13 and 15.
Yeah.
Just really quick. And so it dawned on me, that is very possible that we can do that.
Yeah.
And none of those things were wrong. That's not the point. It's just really about taking things one step and one day at a time. But categorizing them also helps your brain kind of build out like a mental cabinet, like a mental file cabinet that helps you put things in perspective. Another thing that he said is a goal that's important to you, you will take the time to write it down, because you also want to put some steps and strategies in place to make sure that you execute it. Most of the goals that stay in your head, or most of the things that you are aspiring to or working toward, if they stay in your head, you might not do them. Now, let me qualify that for those who say, no, not me. If your brain is messed up, that's you. Look, it could be, okay? You might, listen, I don't take that from you. You might be full functioning. You don't forget anything. You have an impeccable memory like an elephant. But I know for me, just a personal example, I've done this in ways where I have looked at my phone and seen a text message and had mustard and seasoning on my hands because I was about to cook some chicken. And in my mind, I saw the name of the person texting me. And I was like, oh, yeah. Use my knuckle or something to tap it so I can be able to see that this is me pointing to it, because I put my phone on the stand sometimes in the kitchen, and being able to touch it with my skin, being like, okay, you show right. Okay. And then I'm answering in my mind. And I have every intention of responding, and not just responding, but responding fully and timely. But I walk away, finish massaging that chicken, battering up them chicken strips and getting them in that hot grease.
All right.
I go wash all the flour and stuff off my hands. I'm wiping off the seasonings that I use so that they don't have old chicken blood and guts and stuff on them. Wipe off my cabinets, adjusting the grease. Oh, it's time for the first batch to come out. By now, my phone has gone black and it's just playing Apple Music again. So I don't even see what's happening on my screen. All of this happening before I know it. One of them kids come in there and ask me, what am I making for sides? And I'm explaining to them that I'm about to do some sauteed broccoli and some Velveeta shells and cheese.
That sounds good.
I know. I'm gonna make you something sweet.
I just ate before we got on here.
Look, you always think about your next meal. Seriously. That happens. Does that sound far-fetched? Like, how quickly can something like happen? And again, that was not my heart. I saw your name. I was excited. Yeah. I was planning on I can't say excited. I'm saying I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I had every intention of answering, right? But I was in the middle of something that I was also giving my intention to. I'm cooking for myself or for my family. I'm cleaning up. That's important to me too. Right. Someone else has a conversation with me. Now I'm distracted. And so it's very easy to forget something like that. So I'm saying is just relying on your memory for things doesn't always cut it. There was a season where I told him that in order to remember to call my grandma and my great auntie, I had to put an alarm in my phone to say, and it literally says, Couture, call grandma. Couture, call auntie. Just to remind me not to forget about until it became a habit. And I'm like, okay, now at least I'm calling more frequently. But for a while, I had to do it monthly. So his point was that things that you are praying about or seeking God about, or things that you believe God is saying to you, if they're important enough for you to pursue and you really believe that they came from the Lord, go ahead and write them down, just even for the sake of tracking them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, what God told me December 22nd about 2024, I don't know how clear that thing is going to be or how clear those things are going to be.
Yeah.
On May 14th.
Yeah.
At 3 p.m.
Yeah.
On my day off in 2024.
Man, and you'll be amazed how helpful it is. Those of you who take notes and who do this already, you understand that. I have so many notes categorized in folders in my phone, all of that stuff, and I'm able to go back to it. If I can't think of it fully, I can search a word that has to do with it, and it'll pull up. I mean, I have thousands of notes.
You do. You're definitely better than me.
That I check. No, it's not that.
No.
That I check frequently, but I'm just saying it actually helps when you do write those things down, and it's a reminder. And it also helps lock you back into the thought process and the encouragement, the motivation, the inspiration that you had even in that moment when you wrote it.
I love
you know what I mean? And so that is
that's
a good thing. Like I definitely like that. It's definitely something that I utilize myself, and it helps. And I'm always trying to be better and like clean certain things up. Well, I've done that over the years, but try to be, consistent even in that, so I love that. But what are some things you're good?
Oh no, I was gonna ask you probably the same thing. Go ahead, ask your question.
Just want to know, and whether you leave this in the comments or you leave it in our Facebook and our Talking with the Bosses Facebook group. What are some things that you have to continue to do this year? Want to know that. What are some things that you have to continue to do this year? So I'll ask you first, and I'll kind of put you on the spot. What is something that you have been doing that you feel like you need to keep doing?
Yeah, I think for me, I have some to be continued. Mm-hmm. Like you pointed out to me, some of my to be continued are to continue to keep being curious and asking God the same question over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have for me? What am I supposed to be doing? Because I don't want to labor in the wrong direction. And I remember years ago, I got this revelation. We were living in West Wayne. You were up in college. And I remember telling you, I said, today, Keedren, while I was in prayer, the Lord told me to labor in the Lord, lest I labor in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. Yeah.
And then recently, we were talking and I said, I'm kind of surrendered. I have to go back to God's word. No matter what it is I want, no matter what it is I think he said, because sometimes we think that he's telling us to do the thing that we want. But a lot of times the thing that he's telling us to do is the thing that we need and want and will bring us joy.
Yeah.
And so that really is a better outcome. But I said, honestly, I want to get back to God's word and just seeking him first. Yeah. And a part of me seeking him first is not just seeking him. What do you want me to do so I can be successful, God? What do you want me to do that I might bring you glory? What do you want me to do that I might walk in the purpose that you have for me? What do you want me to do that I am connected in the right way, that I am helping the people that I'm sent to, that I'm assigned to?
Yeah.
And I think everything else comes with it. And that's just a promise in his word. Seek ye first. Mm-hmm. Seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, the kingdom of heaven, and all these other things shall be added unto you. And I don't know what those things are. Mm-hmm. Like, I really had a moment where I was like, all of what things? If they're things from God, I want my stuff. Like, it's like him saying, I got a surprise. You're like, what is it? You know?
Yeah.
And or like getting one of those raffle tickets when you go to an event and they're like, well, you've got to be in the room in order to win.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be seeking God's face. You got to be in his will in order to find out, what that prize or what that reward would be.
So
and
true.
Staying in his presence is rewarding. I don't know where we got to just as a people and feeling or assuming that, or just being fearful that if we ask God what his will is, it's going to be something we don't want. Like we want a wife or a husband, but we feel like we need to give God the list. Because people have told us, like, you got to be specific. Like, God, you know me. You be specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
You specifically made me. You intentionally made me.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the same for my spouse. You're gonna do the same for my children.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey there, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Good to see you, buddy. If you're still there, hey, we love you. Miss you. And so that's me. That's what I feel like I need to continue doing, because I was that person. I think maybe several years ago, probably 7 years ago, is when I probably stopped making lists of telling God what I needed him to go ahead and do.
Yeah.
Like, and you can be 65 on this call and say, I need to be today years old, and make the decision that I'm not grown in him. I'm the apple of his eye. I'm his baby.
Yeah.
He made me, and he keeps waking me up for whatever that reason is. Let me just say I owe it to myself to even see, like, I owe that curiosity to myself to see what God actually wants me to do, because he's definitely answered my prayers and he's definitely given me the desires of my heart. And I have prayed for things and God has delivered them to me. And then I spent the whole next season trying to pray that very prayer that I prayed back out of my life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me, but it's a true story. I have prayed for things, got them, and then spent the next season just praying, like, Lord, what did I ask for? This ain't, wait a minute now. So that's going to continue.
Yeah.
That's meant to be continued.
I love it.
I love
we
you.
Definitely want to hear. I believe it. I definitely want to hear what you all have to think about that.
I gave y'all some time. Where y'all at in here? Let me see.
Yeah, but as you view this, like, we'll come back and we'll check this out too. We'll look at the comments. But just think about those things. Think about those things that you need to continue to do.
Sure. And some things worked.
Yeah.
Check on the things that were working, not just the things that need to be tossed out.
Right. Yeah.
What actually worked?
Yeah.
That, like, it's not too good to be true right now. You walked uprightly, you walked with integrity, you prayed, you planned, and God is showing you some things in the last season that you're bringing into this new season. And so if you have fruit right now, that means you also have seed in that fruit.
Right.
That means you have a blueprint because you did something right.
Yeah.
You did it right. What do you need to do, like, to repeat that thing again?
Right.
Who do you need to sow into that you can help bring up because you did it right. You're doing it right.
Yeah.
And so that's not something to be overlooked either. That's something to rejoice. If 10 things went wrong, but 2 went right, what are those 2 things? And what did you do? Because there's probably a common denominator. It could be something mentally or spiritually that you shifted. You like, you know what, I'm going to commit to this. And you actually did that. You might have did something 10 more times last year as opposed to 0 the year before. Go back and just reflect on that. Like you've been saying this whole time, be reflective.
Yeah.
Think about it and don't just reflect on it just to remember, but measure that. Measure that because it counts for something. You may not have had the quantity, but you might have done something quality wise that you're winning at. And so, no, it's not too good to be true. If you are walking into this season with fruit and harvest from your latter season, then praise God.
Yeah.
Praise God. That's a good thing. Do it again. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Stay encouraged. Yeah. Stay encouraged. Do it again.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, that's a word right there. That's a word right there. So stick to that. I love it. I love it.
Amen.
That's good. That's good, Sandra. Continue talking with God as my friend and father. Keep my worship and prayer. That's right. Absolutely. Continue to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. We need the Lord to walk with us. And also walking with him, right? you know, walking with him and talking with him, right? Like you said, Sandra. Have you ever been, walking with somebody that you didn't want to walk with?
You know, I just had one memory of that Chicago trip.
Oh, Lord.
And we got off that cruise.
But you can walk with someone.
And we walked a long time.
Yeah, you can be walking with someone and not really be walking with them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, because I tapped out. I could not.
But I'm thinking about that. And, I know Sandra said talking, with God as my friend and father. And it just kind of made me think about walking with him as well.
Yeah. Like Adam did in the cool of the day. Like he walked,
being led and
I like that. Yes.
But that's good. That's good.
Father
Sandra.
And friend. Those are the 2 key words.
That's key. Yeah, that's
right.
That's key. I told Zion, because I'm gonna start doing some more. I'm working on some projects that Zion is gonna be helping me with. But
so
our son plays the piano, and so I told him yesterday. I said, I got a couple of songs that old hymns that
we were jamming in here last night.
That's funny.
It was
I'm challenging him to learn to play. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Just some old gospel hymns and things like that.
I like that.
But that song, one of my favorite, is "What a Friend We Have in Jesus."
Oh yes.
That's a beautiful thing. So reminding ourselves, as Sandra said, that Jesus is that Lord is not just our Father; He's also our friend. And that's important. That really puts us in a different space. To focus in a different way.
It's a perspective shift.
You
can really sit in that. Like he is God. He is holy. He's my father. He's my friend. He's my counselor. My healer. My just everything, like whatever we need him to be. He can be that, and just sitting in that. We miss you too, Sophia.
Miss you too, Sophia. Love
we
y'all.
miss your kids too, who are grown.
I know.
and have their own babies. And we follow Emily online, and she's just become such a beautiful, beautiful young woman.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes, love both your kids. Please send our love to them.
For sure.
But yeah, just shifting your perspective, because something changes. Like when I think back on our relationship, we started like acquaintances, like we knew each other, and I think we appreciated the space to admire each other before we moved into even like hanging out and having lunch, together with, the friend group, or, congregating in certain areas by the gym, and then eventually walking to our bus stops together, just forming that friendship. Like it changed all when I saw you at all those things. And then once we were married and I got to still see you like as my friend and my personal like comedian and songwriter, and y'all, he wrote me a song and sang it to me on our wedding day. Like he had already made albums, but it was personal. And so seeing you in all of those different capacities and what you mean to me in those moments, I think when we look at God like that in an intimate way, like not just my friend, but maybe my best friend, my shoulder to cry on, my friend to talk to, the person who'll never tell my secrets, the one who catches and collects my tears. Like that is just a beautiful thing. That's in God's words too. If it sounds romantic, it's because it is, it's a very intimate part of our relationship with him. So just even shifting perspective, that inspired me when you just broke down her comment, because I just read it and I thought it was good. But even you saying like, just remember like walking with him as we're walking with him, because you can walk with someone and not be connected, or you can walk with someone and you are walking in alignment and you're walking in agreement, or you could be walking with someone and just tolerating them. And I think we can all agree that the Lord, being in the presence of being filled with his Holy Spirit, it does not want to be tolerated. He desires to be he desires to be appreciated, that knowing that we value his presence, that the curtain has been torn so that we can have access, that he left us a comforter, that Jesus left us a comforter so that we would not be comfortless in any area of discomfort. So that just changes everything. But that's a wonderful thing to say. I'm going to continue to do. Just see him for more of who he is, and not what he has. And sometimes I think that's the danger of writing our list. It's like New Year's is the adult Christmas, saying, here's my list. This is what I want. And I'll try to be more nice than I am naughty, so you can do what I want and give me what I want.
And see, even with that, like it's like, and it's not a bad thing to set goals. Like we've said that, we have
definitely said set your goals.
Making sure that of course you're intentional with that.
But just seeking the Lord first, and not just telling him, inviting him.
But there are some things, even when it's that, like that we don't even include God in. We just set the goals for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not even. So there's some that's just not even. I don't want to say it had nothing to do with God, but it don't have anything. It's just like, this is for me that I'm going to do. I'm not even asking
in God, my own strength.
You know what I mean? Because I know you shared saying that this year doesn't belong to you. Like it's like, God, what do you want me to do? That, right? Yeah. But most most people aren't thinking. That's not a normal way of thinking for the new year. It's like, this is what I have, resolved to do, and I'm going to do it, right? And that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But understanding too that being intentional and prayerful for those things, like God, because there's some things you're going to have to put your foot to the pavement on.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That you're going to have to shake your way out of a rut to get it done.
Talk about it. You will be tired.
Yeah. There are some things. And so to encourage those people, to encourage you who have their goals set, who are continuing what you were doing even from last year, but you have maybe a couple more that you're just adding to that because you're in the groove and you're like, hey, this is it. Yeah. You know, and so press forward, be consistent, you know. Today is going to be the 100th day for me on Duolingo. You know what I mean? I'm one of my goals is to be bilingual. You know what I mean? And so I want to learn Spanish. Is definitely a language that I love. Like I love the culture. You know,
we do.
I do, and so I want to understand it more. And even in these 100 days, like I'm still learning. I'm still like it's like a huge review. Even everything that I've learned over these 100 days. And so I'm to a place where it's reminding me like a lot of stuff, you know, it still comes to me. You know, I've learned probably about almost 200 new words. But I've known a lot. Like I've had to take Spanish as a second language in college. Of course, taking Spanish 2 and 1 and 2 in high school, and then taking Spanish again in college. So there's a huge amount that I know, but I really want to be able to have conversations and in Espanol and be able to understand, but also be understood as well. But it's a process that I have to continue, and I'm excited about. So I just pray that whatever it is that you have set your mind to do, the goals that y'all have set, that God gives you the strength and the courage to continue to do these things, to continue to fight for your consistency. Consistency sometimes is a fight. Like you got to fight through some things to keep it going.
Right.
And so I just pray that, you have strength and inspiration in those moments where you feel less inspired. And I just pray that God will give you the strength in those times to continue those things. So that. Yeah.
I received that. I love how even with your consistency, y'all, let me tell y'all, I'm not going to embarrass you. You don't embarrass Easy anyway. But we have a family chat with us parents and all 4 of our kids. And every time he finishes a lesson, he has to do it before midnight. And every time he finishes a lesson, he sends his badge of completion to that family text. So all 5 of us get an alert that dad has met his next level on his Duolingo. It was funny in the beginning, and now we're just like, oh yeah, dad did another lesson on his Duolingo. And the other day when he told me how many days he was, I was not surprised, because you might be surprised how many times I thought we was both getting ready to turn over and go to sleep. And I look up, or I turn, I'm like, what you doing? He done sat straight up in the bed and he doing Duolingo and he's saying phrases out loud and submitting them. And every time he submits them, because he likes the reinforcement of the little chime, a little chime bell goes off let him know that he answered correctly. So if that lesson is 10 or 20 questions, he just opened it right now. Y'all, I'm trying to tell you, it's a thing. But I think it's the accountability. Look at that. I think, the glare.
There it is right there. You see that 99? Y'all see that 99 right there?
He's not playing. He is doing so well.
We'll keep it going.
But he threw us in there for accountability. So that's where we are with that. I've messed up my streak learning Chinese, but I jump on and off of it. And every time I do, I have to get back on and start from the beginning. I be feeling good because I always get 100 on them, but it's the cheat because I've already done the lessons. I'm just having to refresh myself.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But I think I said all that to say that sometimes even adding a layer of accountability. There is something that I would love to add to this really quick. You think you have a minute?
Yeah. Before you say that, I do want to say this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was just reminded of this. Go ahead. I'm also in my heart and mind, I'm not setting myself up to, because I want to try to go as long as I can. Yeah. My point is, my goal is not to do 1,000 days straight. My goal ultimately is to learn Spanish to be able to speak it fluently.
Sure.
Right. So with that being said, for me personally, if I miss something, or if I feel like if for some reason we don't get off of, our live and I don't finish and I don't do my day, for some reason I feel like low key, like defeated, like, dang, I done messed up, man. I had this, and it's bigger than that. And so in life and in your goals, as you do these things, if you if something comes up, if you, I won't say mess up, but if you
get off track,
mm-hmm. It's okay.
The track is still there. Get back on.
Yeah, just get back on it. Every time I've seen track meets and somebody who has failed, mm-hmm. right? Now, I ain't never seen nobody fall off the track into the bleachers, fall out of the stadium, right? Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to see that. You know, they fall on the track. The time might be off. The time will be off. The timing, right? You lose time, but you can always get back up. Yes. And continue, you know, and so that's the key to continue. Mm-hmm. So even as you're doing what you do, don't get discouraged, because sometimes you mm-hmm. can not do it, and next thing you know, you're not doing it anymore because you didn't do it a couple right. days, or you didn't do it the way you wanted to do it, and now you're discouraged. So just be encouraged, and if you get off track, just get back on it, and don't beat yourself up. That's ultimately what I want to say, you know, and that. So hopefully I didn't throw you too far off.
No, you didn't throw me off at all. I think it was a great way to finish your point. You actually brought that up. So I think it was great that you finished it off with that. But the only thing I was going to add is that just also remembering when it comes to your goals and the things that the Lord has spoken to you, a part of achieving those things, and I think, and stewarding them, is also protecting them. And sometimes that means you can't share all of your goals. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have people around you that love you. Everybody's not hating on you. It's not that. But sometimes, you know, we have to understand that our goals are very fragile. Mm-hmm. In the beginning stages, they are fragile. You will do better to say, when someone asks, well, what have you been up to? Well, I finished 2 books, you know, in the last 2 months. Or I finished reading 2 books in the last 2 months. Then just saying, yeah, this year my goal is to read a book every month. And something sometimes happens in your own mind. Like once you put it out there and you haven't actually made movement towards it yet, mm-hmm. the fragility of that goal is just not strong enough to stand. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to exercise this much. I'm going to do this much. You would do better to actually start whatever that goal is. And say, you know, I've been working out for about a month now. My goal was to work out 3 days per week. In the last 4 weeks, I've only done 2 per week. But, you know, I'm on a roll. I'm on a consistent roll. Yeah. Rather than saying, yeah, you know, I got a gym membership, so, you know, I'm about to hit it 3-4 days a week and I'm on. Those types of goals, I think all goals are fragile in the early stages. Yeah. So I would say really treat them like they're in their infancy. Don't speak too soon. You don't have to feel compelled to share in detail what it is you're doing. What you could be doing and should be doing is sharing this as an encouragement, even to your brother or sister who you're speaking or sharing anything with, is that right now I'm really seeking the Lord. If you want to pray for me, I'm not, you know, like mentally, you know, I'm not giving you a specific goal of mine to pray for. That's mine. That was my word. God gave that to me. But you could be praying as I am praying, to just be in his will. Pray my strength, my actual and literal strength in the Lord. Yeah. Pray that I am well and healthy. Give people something that is actually biblically aligned and not something that's personal between you and God in those early stages. And I think that might help some of us. It might not work for everyone.
No, that's really good. You know, that's really good. I actually have at least one thing that I haven't told anybody that I'm doing. I mean, you know, but it's nothing that, it's definitely something that I'm just doing. I'm just doing it. You know what I mean? I've already started, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just doing it, you know, and the results and everything else will come out when it's time, but I'm not really focused on that. Right. I'm doing this because I know it's something that I need to do. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just doing it. So there are things that we need to just do. Yeah. And I love that, you know, that you said that too, because there's definitely some things that can throw you off. There's some more pressure that comes with that too. Accountability, of course, there's pressure that comes with that, which is important. Going, yeah, you know, but get going, and then like you say, there are some people that know how to encourage you the right way and speak to you that will keep you going. You know, there's some that will judge you. That was some, you know, you tell people and it's like, hey, I thought you said you were going to be doing that. You know what I mean?
You don't already fell off your goals. It's
right.
Okay.
Right.
And they may say it jokingly, but seriously. And that could be a discouragement, even if that's not necessarily the primary intent. It can have that impact, you know. And there are some positive things that you can be doing, but the minute someone says, "Oh yeah, I saw you doing this," or "I noticed that," suddenly you start feeling self-conscious because you're like, "Oh, someone's watching." So I say in the early stages, you know what I mean? Like there's more to unpack than just what I just shared, but that was just my advice. There's, you know, I can't point you to anything that says that. It's just, you know, let's just protect and steward the thing that God put inside of us. And sometimes just hold it, nurse it, rock it, take care of it until it's strong enough to stand on its own. And once you've established a habit in doing something, you've established some level of consistency. Now that goal is strong enough to kind of stand. So someone asks, when you know what you've been up to, you look like you're working out, look like you're eating healthier, look like you're growing your hair out from the haircut you have. Well, actually I am, you know.
Yeah.
And then testify.
That's good. Got a Loa on there. Hey, Loa. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought that was a Loa.
Oh, Carnisha.
I still got my.
I know we just thought the E.
Hold on. Yeah. So read that right there.
Okay. I tend to treat my fragile goals like the prayers I pray. When we pray, it's private and only to God. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, it does. That's how I protect them. That's exactly my point. Yes. And that's a beautiful way to put it. Treat your fragile, because they are. Your early stage goals are fragile. And not everyone can do that. You know, over time, the people that, you know, support you and cheer you on, and I'm like, I knew you could do it. I'm praying for you. You're going to be amazing. You got it. You know, and you may have one or two people, but even then, it's just so much better. Get yourself going, right? And give that thing some strength in its legs. And then when you share it, you know, you even have the strength to protect it, because it's hard to protect a goal that you feel like you're flopping and failing on. You know, it's hard to justify it even for you.
Yeah. No, that's true. So Adolf, glad to hear you're trying to learn Spanish. I'm trying to teach my kids what they
Look at me, the face.
Man, I'm gonna keep it going, Adolf, man. And you know what's funny? I've been knowing this is my guy Adolf. I've been knowing Adolf since the 8th grade. Went to school together in San Antonio. And it's crazy because I didn't know Adolf knew Spanish. I didn't know that, man. But anyway, that's real, man. Yeah, I'm staying consistent with it.
That's the cousin homie right there.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. Love you, brother. But yeah, keep on trying, man. It's crazy because by the time they really want to learn, they'll be looking at you like you'll be looking at them like I've been trying.
I try to do little stuff with our kids, and we have no idea why we've always had our kids in Spanish and always messed with them in Spanish. Tried to make them order in Spanish restaurants, or not even Spanish restaurant, Mexican food restaurants, and give their order in Spanish. It's even written in Spanish. They won't even hardly try. So, oh no. But meanwhile,
for real.
I think we had immersion too. We had a lot. Well, I feel like they did too. They grew up in.
I know I definitely did. Like
I had a lot of immersion.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You hear me? I was in it.
For sure.
Yes.
But just love the culture, love the language.
Yeah. Keep trying it.
We're gonna keep trying, buddy. But yeah, I love this conversation that we've had. It's important, from how you shared that you feel like this year doesn't belong to you. I'm with you on that. What does God has for us to do? We also shared that it's important to continue what needs to be continued, that you started last year or the year before, or however long ago it was, that it didn't start January 1st, 2024. What is something that you need to continue to do? Think of those things, continue to do those things, right? Try not to add too much more to your plate just because everybody else is doing it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Be successful in those things. Yeah.
Faithful with the few.
Faithful with the few is important. That's key. Consistency. I heard someone say, I don't know where I heard it from, but consistency is the only cheat code.
It really is.
But definitely living for the Lord and being obedient to the Lord. Obedience obedience to God is definitely a cheat code as well, but even being consistent in your obedience is key.
Absolutely.
But what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No. I mean, like, no, you don't have to say I'm sorry. I'm trying to think what my thought was. Because you said something about cheat code.
Yeah.
No. I was thinking, because when people think about cheat codes, like, typically, right, a cheat code helps you have like an unfair advantage, right? Yeah. While everyone else is working hard. And I just feel like, for me personally, and look, y'all, I'm not old. I'm in my 40s, but I'm not old. I don't believe that I'm old. I'm not claiming.
Not in your 40s, you just hit. I guess you could say you in there.
I'm in there now.
I think. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to?
Sorry. Okay, hold on. This lets you know I'm in my 40s. Goodness. Keep listening about that. No, okay. So, man. A cheat code, when people typically think of cheat codes like for a game, it's to give you an unfair advantage over others that are playing fairly and they're working hard. Yeah. And the cheat allows you, the unfair advantage is that you don't have to work as hard. I'm saying at my age, this stage and season of my personal life, I don't want to work hard at things that God did not say to work hard at. Right. This is why my cheat code is to submit everything I am and who I am and what I want to be to God, so that he can tell me specifically, because hearing from God very specifically about the things that he wants me to do to me, and in doing those things consistently, that's a cheat code. Yeah. That is a cheat code. Yeah. Because that's going to help me not spend my energy in places that I just don't have anymore. You ever think that in the season of your life you're in right now, I wish I knew back then what I know now? Or if I could go back and redo, if I could do back 10, redo 10 years, if I could do 5 years over, I would do so many things differently just based on what I know. I feel like once you get past a certain season in your life, and it's not age, it's season, what have your accumulation of experiences been? Yeah. Once you get through a certain level of accumulation, or a certain, you've amassed certain experiences, when you reflect how many of those things you truly did too much in. Yeah. You took the long way. You took the hard way. Yeah. Like, I think of a season when I just think of how long it took me to graduate. 10 years. I should have been a doctor, like a medical doctor. Yeah. So everything happens for a reason, but it doesn't mean it's a part of God's plan. Yeah. It means that his mercy and grace covers even the errors of us being human beings, right? His grace has accounted for those kinds of errors. But I think about how many people didn't need to make those because they knew something that I didn't know in that season of my life. So now, knowing what I know, I happen to know that my list compared to what God wants for me is child's play. And so by seeking him first and saying, God, what would you have me to do? If I'm telling you that I want to travel at the speed of my destiny, that I want clarity on what I feel you're leading me to do, then when I ask him for strength to do that, I can get that. Yeah. I can ask him to bless me to do the thing that he told me to do. I can expect him to give me grace over the thing that he told me to do. I can expect for him to give me favor over the thing that he told me to do. Imagine me saying, God, this is everything I wanted to do. I'm doing it my way, with or without you. This is my list. This is what I want. This is what I say. This is how I'm going to do it. But I also want your favor, your mercy, your grace, your provision. I want everything you have except your will. Yikes. That is the epiphany that I had. So I said it much simply, but that is basically the conversation that I had not put language to until like this moment, literally this moment. Yeah. But that is why I said what I said in the beginning. My 2024 does not belong to me. I belong to God. And my future, meaning 2024, my future, my days, I'm submitting and committing to God. Yeah. Just like the years before. None of them ever belonged to me, even though I tried to make them mine. I tried to hold God accountable for making things happen, whether he said them or not. I held God accountable for promises, some promises he didn't even make. But the things that he did tell me to do, when I did them, I had strength, had comfort, I had favor. Yeah. The opportunities were there. I had the resources. It brought finances. It restored my health. It gave me health. Those kinds of, I found my health in it. I became healthier. So when I think about that, I think you saying that it's important for us to reflect. I think the other piece is what we put together with like reflecting and then measuring it. Mm-hmm. When you look back over your experiences, like you say, the Rolodex of your own memory, you thumb back through all the things that you've been through. What was working? Right. What is working? What from 2023 is working that you should be celebrating that you did? Because if you did it once and God helped you do it once, he can help you do it again. Yeah. Keep doing that thing and be encouraged. But I maintain at the end of the day, I think we're saying the same thing too. Seek God first. Mm-hmm. If you've never tried it, try that. Yeah. Do that. Like new year, better me instead of new me. I'm not new, but I want to be better. Yeah. I want a new year, wiser me, new year, kinder me, more loving me, Yeah. I don't know.
No, that's good. You know something. So
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Crazy.
But we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Yes, we appreciate y'all. Thank you, Sophia. We appreciate that. This is definitely something that we're
our church's campaign, making room for more. Yeah. Oh, I'm too little. There we go. Thank you for that.
Excited about it.
Yeah. Shout out to the Potter's House North for making room for more and still feeding the community, still blessing people, still giving. Just so generous. Yeah. But we're making room for more to do even more of that in Jesus' name. And so in every sense of the word, this is the prophetic word that came to our church. Mm-hmm. And so we're just excited to be a part of what God is doing in this season. Sure. And you are a part of something that God either is or wants to do in this season. Yeah. And so by seeking him first, you can almost guarantee that you will be aligned and doing what he's called you to do. Yeah. And you don't have to get to October and start counting down the days that you assume you have left in this year.
Man, yeah.
And I meant to say assume because we don't know.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We don't have to throw the year away 3 quarters in.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah.
Literally.
One day at a time.
Literally. I've been enjoying saying literally.
That's funny. Steward today well. Steward today well.
Yes.
But thank y'all for tuning in so much. We're excited about the future of talking with the Bostons.
Yes,
we've been having fun. Have you been having fun? I want to speak to you.
I've been having a ball. I was really excited when you said you were bringing back. So guys, we're bringing back the Not About Me hoodies.
Oh yeah, and t-shirts. Yeah.
So in the description, there's actually a link. So if you want some of our selfless messaging, basically we do selfless messaging apparel. We've been doing it for years. Yeah. And he's got back in gear where we've been talking about and playing with some new colors. I have a blue that y'all just went bananas for when they first dropped. So we're getting ready to drop any color you want. Well, not any color you want, any color we have.
Yeah, we got some different colorways, yeah.
But check out the store. It's notaboutme.store. Yeah. And just check out some of that selfless messaging we have. That we have one shirt that Keedren let me come up with. Give more, take less. Yeah. And that's just in line with our selfless messaging. So Not About Me kind of speaks for itself. It's not about me. If someone asks you, well, who is it about? Then it's all about God. Everything we do as an extension of his hands and feet in the earth. And if you know us, then you know that that's true. This is not a gimmick.
Yeah.
So
it's about being considerate.
Yeah.
Considerate of others.
And not a gimmick.
Yeah.
At all.
For sure.
We're living the life.
That's key. Yeah.
So check out that link. If you're watching from Facebook, there's this new thing on there called stars. Give us some stars. Give us some hearts.
Can we do that?
Some likes.
Should be able to. If y'all can do that.
I don't know. Y'all have to tell us what that is. Yeah. But thank you for commenting and for tuning in, for watching, for hanging out with us, for just engaging with us. We always say what do we say? We start the conversation. Y'all shape the conversation.
Yeah.
And every time that happens, we just end up having a ball with y'all. So we want you to know that we were praying for you over the Christmas and New Year holiday for you and your families. Every now and again, we did check in. We promised we would do that before the Christmas break, which was our last one. And so we definitely kept our word. We thought of you and could not wait to get back on with you tonight. I came on rap and y'all missed it. I was
90s. She was thugged out today, I tell you.
The 99
2000. Had the hoodie on.
It's the hood.
Making it right.
Somebody putting the hood on that makes you be more hood.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, y'all check out the link, notaboutme.store. It's definitely hoodie season. Got more hoodies on there.
Yes.
And I'm super excited about the love, Not About Me Love edition. So we have, next month, everyone is celebrating
month of love, and we doing love all year.
All year.
You'll like the hoodie. It's the hoodie
for sure.
All year.
But yeah, we love y'all, and just pray that y'all have a good night. If you don't have anything else you want to share, I think you did a great job.
You did a great job. It's a great conversation.
We love y'all. Yeah, for sure. Definitely more to come. Looking forward to our next conversation. Y'all stay tuned.
Yep.
Stay active. For those of you who are in our Talking with the Boston's Facebook group, let's stay active in there. If you have any questions for us, feel free to message us. Any prayer requests, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, you put them in there, and we can always talk about them on here.
Yeah, we always respond.
Yeah. Any prayer requests that you may have, definitely want y'all to message us or even put them in the group. We have, over. We have a few hundred people that's in the group right now.
It's just under 300. Yeah.
And so we know that we have a lot of people in there that are prayer warriors. They love the Lord. Mm-hmm. They, it wouldn't just be us, praying for you as well. In those moments where you feel like you would want, just more than us two to pray for you. If you, it's okay for those kind of things. Just wanted to open that. And let you all know that that's okay. But definitely DM us if y'all have any prayer requests that you want us to be agreeing and praying with you and for you on or your family.
Yeah. Sure.
Love that. And then also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please head over there and subscribe.
And do that.
Yeah, the link is in the description.
As well. Yep, with the Boston.
Yeah, give us a subscribe. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. So that way, whenever we get ready to go live or we post things that we're going to be doing, you'll be able to be notified on those things. So, I got a music video that I'm going to put out that actually I recorded it a few years ago in New Zealand. And so I'm gonna be posting that too. I think that'll be pretty cool. Nobody's seen it yet.
They haven't seen. Oh, this is about to be a premiere, y'all. Yeah, so all right.
Yeah, y'all heard it first. All right.
Yes. Well, we'll see y'all next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay.
For sure. Right.
Hey,
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in. All right, now we love y'all. And we will see you. We're going to see them next
Sunday, 7 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
All right.
Be back then.
Bye, guys.